Okay, you know the feeling. You're at a party, you've got a drink in your hand, and you get trapped in a conversation about the weather. Yep, small talk. For so many of us, it can be just pure agony. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why does it feel so incredibly draining?
I mean, if you've ever been there, just nodding politely while your brain is desperately scanning for the nearest exit, you are definitely not alone. That feeling of complete social exhaustion, it's super common. And as it turns out, it's not just you being in a bad mood. There's a real, measurable psychological cost to it.
And this is where the psychology behind it all gets really fascinating. For certain people, these little surface-level chats come at a high price. They aren't just kind of boring. They are literally described as expensive. They drain your social battery and leave you feeling completely wiped out.
So, if this is a real thing, what's the actual explanation? Well, here's the good news. It's not some personal failing. It doesn't mean you're bad with people. The research actually points to something much deeper, your fundamental personality profile.
That's right. The source material breaks this whole aversion to small talk down into 4 distinct archetypes. 4 totally different fundamental reasons why that idle chatter about your weekend plans can feel like such a drag.
So here they are: the energy guardian, the depth seeker, the efficiency expert, and the sensitive soul. Let's dive in and get to know them. And hey, as we go, you might just have a "that's me" moment.
Okay, so let's meet these profiles. Pay close attention and ask yourself that question on the screen. Which one of these sounds the most like you?
First up, we've got the energy guardian. And just like the name suggests, this person is all about protecting a very precious and very limited resource. So think about your social energy like the battery on your phone. For an energy guardian, you wake up with 100%, and every single interaction, big or small, takes a chunk out of it. They are just hyper-aware that their energy is not infinite.
This quote just nails it. Think about it, right? Would you spend, say, $20 on something you're just going to throw away in 5 minutes? Probably not. Well, for the energy guardian, spending their precious social energy on a totally forgettable conversation feels just as wasteful. They're saving it for the real investments, those deep, meaningful connections.
Okay, next up is the depth seeker. Now for this person, their issue with small talk isn't really about managing resources. It's more about a deep hunger for something substantial.
This person isn't necessarily an introvert, They might love talking to people, but they crave substance. To them, small talk feels like eating a bag of chips when you're starving for a real satisfying meal. It's just unfulfilling, and honestly, after a while, it gets pretty agitating. The phrase used to describe this is just perfect: emotional noise. Yeah, for the depth seeker, small talk is just a bunch of static getting in the way of the clear signal they're desperately trying to find, a signal of real, authentic human connection.
All right, let's shift gears a bit, from the emotional to the purely analytical. Say hello to profile number 3, the efficiency expert.
For this profile, conversation is all about the transmission of information. They have a goal, a point, a reason for talking. They tend to see the world through this lens of logic and, well, productivity. So for the efficiency expert, the bottom line is that small talk is just badly designed. It's an unnecessary step, a roadblock. I mean, why would you take some winding, scenic route filled with pointless pleasantries when there's a direct highway straight to the real information?
And that brings us to our final profile, the sensitive soul. For them, the problem with small talk is less about energy or efficiency and all about authenticity.
You see, the sensitive soul experiences the world on this really deep emotional frequency. And because of that, having to perform social niceties that don't match how they're truly feeling inside is incredibly difficult. It just feels dishonest, and that internal conflict is absolutely exhausting.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. For them, a fake smile isn't just some minor inconvenience. It feels like they're betraying their own inner truth. They crave what's real, and let's face it, so much of small talk feels profoundly fake.
So, let's do a quick recap. For the energy guardian, small talk is an expense. For the depth seeker, it's just noise. For the efficiency expert, it's a roadblock. And for the sensitive soul, it's totally inauthentic. Looking at this list, do you see yourself in any of these? Maybe even a mix of them?
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, knowing your profile isn't just about sticking a label on yourself. It's about shifting your entire perspective on this, moving from a place of avoidance to a place of real intention.
And this right here is the core idea.
Hating small talk does not make you antisocial. It doesn't mean you hate people. In fact, for all 4 of these archetypes, the root cause is the exact opposite. They are so deeply pro-connection that the shallow substitute just isn't going to cut it. So, understanding your profile isn't an excuse to just hide away from people. No, it's permission to be more intentional. It empowers you to stop asking, how can I get better at small talk, and to start asking a much more powerful question. What conversations are truly worth your energy?